Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian. Today, I'm here at the Cody Firearms Museum. This is part of the Buffalo Bill Center for the West, as you can see emblazoned all over that huge building. And this is actually a complex of 5 different museums. A natural history museum, a Western art museum, a museum of the Plains Indians, a museum about Buffalo Bill himself, and the Cody Firearms Museum. Now, what I, of course, am particularly interested in here is the Cody Firearms Museum. Right now they have about 7,000 guns in their collection, and about 4,000 of those are actually on exhibit, which may not sound like a lot, but when you start looking at a lot of museums, you realize that's actually a tremendously large fraction of their collection to actually be on display. The collection is based on, in large part, donations from a number of major contributors, the biggest single one, the most notable one, being the Winchester Factory collection. So what they have on display here includes a tremendous number of Winchester prototypes, John Browning prototypes, patent samples, as well as the collection of competitors' rifles that was put together by the Winchester Company for many decades. It's a fantastic museum. Really, the only downside to it is it's located in Cody, Wyoming. Now, Cody, Wyoming is the town formed by Buffalo Bill Cody. That's why his museum is here. That's why they started the Firearms Museum here. And it's a gorgeous town. The only problem is it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere up in Wyoming. However, it is absolutely worth a trip up here. If you're ever in the area, you should definitely check it out. I'll tell you what, why don't we go inside? Let's take a gander through the galleries and you get an idea for what I'm talking about when I say they have a really impressive collection. All right, so as we enter the main set of galleries, they have, well, let's start with something big and impressive. Big Gatling gun complete with carriage and armor shield, and then an interesting complete track basically of American firearms of the Old West, both rifles and pistols. Now, the main section of the museum is actually divided into 2 major parts. One of them, which we're taking a look at right here, are galleries divided up by different manufacturer. And they have a pretty comprehensive selection, at least of American. So Parker, Savage, Remington, Stevens, Evans, Marlin, Ithaca, Bannerman, Fogarty, which most people probably never heard of, Spencer, Ballard, Marlin, High Standard, Adirondack, short-lived manufacturer bought out by Winchester, Sharps, Colt, Smith & Wesson, including handguns. Of course, one of the main sections of the collection is Winchester, because of course the bulk of, well, not the bulk of, one of the major contributions to the Cody Firearms Museum was the Winchester Factory collection. So they have a lot of prototypes and pretty much a comprehensive set of everything Winchester ever made. Including, here's a particularly cool example, these are the revolvers that were involved in the debacle between Winchester and Colt over Colt producing lever action rifles, Winchester threatening to produce revolvers, and they both mess with each other's markets. That ended in a kind of backroom agreement that they'd stay out of each other's business, which lasted for quite a long time. So here's some more of the Winchesters. Example, Winchester Hotchkiss rifles. Now, the other section is divided up by time frame. We have a couple of cool immersive galleries. Oh, an entire section of embellished firearms. We'll go through some of this here. And this will let us out in the section of firearms divided up chronologically. So looking at things even starting with crossbows through very early firearms technology, colonial era, we have American Revolution, War of 1812, moving onward towards more Civil War era. Post-Civil War. Various incarnations of the trapdoor Allen conversion. And then looping around the other side here, we're going to go from Spanish-American War, World War I. And take a look at that. That right there is one of the Winchester 1907s adapted to aircraft use. Here we have World War II. If I back up quite a long way, you can see that entire water-cooled M2. And a very nice selection of U.S. service arms. Another Gatling gun. Oh, now here is a loaned collection from the Smithsonian with some really cool engraved guns, and even cooler, some fascinating original patent models of some really influential development guns. And I'd love to show them to you, but I can't because the Smithsonian signed a 30-year exclusive video contract with the Showtime network, and so nobody else is allowed to do any video of anything from the Smithsonian collection. So if you want to see those, you'll just have to come down here. Go back and take a look through Ruger. We missed Ruger on the way up. Did you know, by the way, that one of Bill Ruger Sr.'s very first gun projects was a light machine gun for the military during World War II? They have it right there. Didn't end up working out, but not necessarily his fault. A section on air guns. In fact, there are a couple sections on air guns which are pretty cool. They have, for example, a Girardoni air rifle right there, along with several other contemporary models. Here we have additional later 19th century air guns and 20th century air guns. All right, and the next thing we're going to do is head downstairs. All right, I forgot, as we head towards the elevator, we actually have a small section right here on the Semmerling. That's pretty cool. They have a substantial number of Semmerlings. All right, let's head downstairs. So the lower floor here isn't divided up quite like the top floor. This includes a lot of the other guns that they didn't fit all that well into the specific examples upstairs. So this case are breech-loading, flintlock, and percussion guns, muzzle-loading percussion guns, muzzle-loading flintlocks. We have this very cool turret cannon, a couple of Porter turret guns. Now, this right here is actually a really cool set of firearms storage lockers, trays, cases, I don't know what you'd call it. Each one of these, let's get the reflection out, each one of these is 6 or 8 more firearms in a pull-out display, which is this really cool way to get a whole lot more guns actually visible. And what's also neat about this is that the display is clear on both sides, so you can see all the way around each of the guns. Now this section is pretty much all sporting arms of this type. Let me close that the rest of the way. And when we go on to the other corner of the basement here, there's a similar counter, or a similar set of racks there it is, of mostly military arms. So this one is going to go from some of the early breech loaders here. Sorry about the reflections, the glass makes that difficult with the lighting. All the way through stuff like this. And ending with an entire case of Johnson rifles and machine guns. Now there's one other particularly cool section down here that I'd like to show you. Well, first off, we have military arms, including an awful lot of Enfields. Don't worry about that blank spot. Those are actually rifles that we pulled out for me to do video on while I'm here. So by the time you see this video, all those guns will be right back in their case where they belong. But I'm saving the best for last here. So the Valet Browning Gallery is really, I think, one of the crown jewels of the Cody Museum's collection, because in here they have the actual sample guns that Browning handmade and sold to the Winchester Company. He worked with Winchester for a couple decades, and he didn't really sell them complete guns, he sold them patents. And then it would be up to Winchester to take those patents and either develop them into marketable firearms, or in some cases just sit on them so that nobody else could. But these are the actual guns that Browning built to demonstrate those patent ideas. Browning did not build the BAR and the A&M2 there, but the rest of them are. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. This place is definitely worth at least a day to come in, check out the guns, explore, find things you've probably never seen before, because there's a lot of one-of-a-kind stuff here. Stay tuned. I will be doing an interview with the firearms curator, Hlebinsky. She's a really cool person. You'll enjoy watching that too. Thanks for watching.